might have to let it drop. Let it drop.
Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another one. Steve and Will here, ready to talk some Detroit Lions football. But before we get going, you know what we got to do. If you haven't for some crazy reason, hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Just help the channel out. Help us out. We're giving you the content. Help us out. Scratch our back. Okay, we won't scratch yours, but we'll do something. But members giveaway.
We're going to be doing some scratching. We're going to be doing some scratching, Will.
I mean, like we're gonna scratch, but I mean, just virtually right now. But we'll get to that other part. Speaking of the scratching, though, members, if you're a member, there's gonna be a little bit of news that Steve might talk to you about here shortly. You might want to make a move if you're not. We're gonna give away some stuff. This helmet is up for grabs. So, guys, that out of the way, Steve, what in the heck is going on other than this giveaway? Like what's happening other than giving stuff away?
Finally, the Detroit Lions have a little bit of news. All right. We signed Zach Cunningham today. Long tenured vet, Will. He's been around for a minute, spent some years with Houston, a couple years with the Titans, went to Philly last year with Denver. And this is interesting to me. This is very interesting to me because of the situation potentially with Alex Anzalone. We don't know what's going on there, okay? I think it's a big nothing burger, but we talked about it, I think, last week. You know, Alex Anzalone not coming to voluntary workouts. The key word on that is voluntary. I have no problem with it. Also, it's we have to mention, you know, Alex just welcomed a new baby to the family, so I'm sure he's just trying to, you know, do some dad stuff, but I see him down in Florida still working out, but I don't know. With him not showing up to voluntary workouts, signing Zach Cunningham, are some people, not us, reading too much into this signing, Will, or is this a sign of something to come later down the road?
Yes, some people are reading too much into it. Like it's bottom line. I feel like what Coach Sepp said was legitimate. He said, "Hey, listen, this is a captain, this is a leader, this is a guy that is a pivotal part, has been a pivotal part, and he's looking forward to getting back into the building. But there's some business that needs to be taken care of. That's his personal business." Coach Shep said he's going to stay out of it. I feel like it's our job to stay into it, so we're going to stay into it and talk about it. But I do not think that this situation is a situation where Alex isn't going to be signed. I feel like both of these guys are sitting at the table. By these guys, I mean Brad Holmes and Alex Anzalone. I believe they're sitting at the table and just trying to let the other one know they're not messing around is all. Now, I don't feel like we've got to that part per se yet, outside of Alex Anzalone letting the world know that he's not happy. And by letting the world know, I mean getting on social media and putting a few posts out there. I wouldn't even say they were cryptic. I feel like they were flat out like, "Hey, listen, no other linebackers in the league do what I do." What are we talking about here? I don't feel like there's anything really cryptic about that. And I agree with them. And I think that if you look at what the Detroit Lions were when he wasn't out there and what they are when he is out there, it's two different Detroit Lions teams. So people have mentioned that, hey, that's why we got Jack Campbell to fill in for Alex Anzalone, be an Alex Anzalone type of guy for the Detroit Lions and kind of pass the torch. I don't believe that. I want to live in a world, Steve, where I have Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell on the football field at the same time. I don't want to be living in a world where I got to pick in between the two. So, Alex, hey, stand on business. Do what you got to do to figure out a contract for yourself that's fair for you and your family. I'm with you. I have no issue with it. But, Steve, I think the deal gets done. I think it's just one of those Brad Holmes situations. Brad's like, hey, I'm trying to negotiate hard, make sure I do what's best for the Detroit Lions, and Alex is trying to do what's best for his family. I pray that they meet in the middle. I think they will. For the last couple of years, I don't think Alex Anzalone has been here at this time anyways. I think he's been training down in Florida, so I don't think that that's a big deal. Now, what could be a big deal, if we get to mandatories and he's not here, then I'll be like, oh, okay. Like, what are we doing? What's going on? But until then, no panic. No panic. And I don't think that the two correlate. I think that Zach Cunningham was just the Detroit Lions understanding that they were decimated with injuries last year, understanding that we were looking for linebackers off the street. I believe you and I got a couple of phone calls even. It was crazy. So we don't want to be in that situation. And Zach Cunningham is a guy who definitely will be a phenomenal depth piece, a guy that can help out on special teams immediately. And he'll be a veteran voice in that locker room who can mentor some of these younger linebackers. So I think it's a great pickup.
Yeah, I'm not reading too much into. I know we've talked about it. There's fans out there that think that this Alex Anzalone situation is a something. Again, we think it's a big nothing burger. Give the guy a break, man. He just had a kid. All right. He's stressful, man. I'm in the trenches with you, Alex. I know what this newborn stage is all about. All right. Is take your time. Don't go back to work. But in my case, going to work is kind of nice because my wife has to stay home with the baby and do everything. And I have to say that real quiet. Like, yeah, there's a reason I pick up so much overtime so I can get a little vacation, get the hell out of here. So, Alex, keep doing what you're doing, working out in Florida, spend some time with your family. We'll get a deal done. Captain of the defense. He's going to be the Detroit Lions captain on defense next year. I don't suspect a holdout situation, but the Zach Cunningham stuff does. I can understand it might create a couple waves in the ocean out there, but not for us. So Zach Cunningham, listen, a couple years ago, this probably would have been a great signing, but his last season in Denver, not very pretty, Will. Not very pretty at all. I mean, just 7 games played. You play 7 games and you're playing linebacker, you only get 2 tackles. I don't know. Those numbers are a little low, and I don't even look at just the stats. But a couple years ago, 2021, his last season, he had some good years with Houston. I don't think we're getting that same Zach Cunningham. I don't think we're even getting the Tennessee Titans version of Zach Cunningham. But he did kind of bounce back in 2023 with a decent season with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are known to have a stout, nice size or a nice defense that produces at a high level, and they're always in the top of the NFL. But I don't see Zach Cunningham coming here and being like a Cade Cunningham. All right, he ain't going to be a difference maker like Cade, but same last name. I think different type of player. But just a role player, man. I think this is kind of just like hey, come to training camp. Let's see how much juice is left in the tank. Let Calvin Shepard, a former linebacker, get some eyes on you. Maybe we can just take you and just squeeze all that talent you still have left out of you and get one more good run, potentially. Am I banking on that happening? Probably not. I think this is really just going to be a training camp workout. I'd be surprised if he made the team. We talk about some young rookies the other day. We'd be surprised if they made the team. There's some undrafted free agents out there that we really like that we'd be surprised if they made the team. Zach Cunningham, kind of on the back nine of his career. Shoot, I'll even say he's probably teeing up on the 17th, if I'm being honest with you. Well, like he's not even on the back nine. He's got a couple holes left before he's calling it a day and headed into the clubhouse. So I don't think that this signing is any type of signal towards anything. It's probably just a nothing burger, but there's people out there who think that this is tied to Alex Anzalone, and I disagree, and I think Will disagrees as well.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with it being tied to Alex Anzalone. I just think it's tied to depth. That's it. But I'm a little bit higher on him than thinking that he won't make it out of training camp or thinking that he'll get cut. I think he makes the team. And if long as he's got some tread on the tires, I think that he makes this team because as I'm looking at Ezekiel Turner, Trevor Nowaski, I think that's what Anthony Pittman, that's going to be his competition truly. And when I think about a guy who I believe it was in 2020 led the NFL in tackles, right? This is a guy who in 2023 was a starter for Philadelphia. Like, we know they put out tough defenses. So I don't think that Pittman and Nowaski and Turner will hold him off of the roster unless he's got something going on that we don't know about, right? So, but he's been relatively healthy throughout his career. That said, I will say he's an interior linebacker who is down for car wrecks all the time. And what I mean by that is he plays the interior and he don't mind running into a center or guard full bore, right? 9 seasons of that will take its toll on you. So I don't know what his body, even though he's quote unquote healthy, they say it all the time in the NFL, never are you truly healthy. When you're running into linemen to make a living for training camps and full seasons, your body's not right. So how much does he have left in the tank? Yet remains to be seen. 31 years old. He's not the oldest guy in the world. I think that there's a lot of guys that play this game till 33, 34, 35. Doesn't need to necessarily chase down number twos as much as he needs to just maybe latch on the running back side of the backfield and play crossers. So it's not like he needs a tremendous amount of speed. I'm looking for him to make this team. I'm looking for him to contribute on special teams, and I'm looking for him to put a Band-Aid on maybe a week here or a week there. Don't think that he's a guy that you want to have starting every week. Now, if we got into a situation to where somebody got banged up on the back half of the season or for a game or two, and he needed to step in a clutch moment, even in a playoff game, I wouldn't be worried about him. He's a savvy veteran. But what I would worry about if he had to go through that season and fight with his body as much as Buses has had. So great pickup to me. Nothing against those younger guys, but I would rather have a veteran like that who understands the game out there if we get into a tough situation. And it's just tough when we were last year and we were picking up guys. We picked up safeties. We picked up Jamal Adams and tried to play him at linebacker. Like, that's the situation that we were in at the linebacker position. So for that reason, man, I think it's a great piece, but I don't think it's one of those things that we talk about that's going to push the needle any crazy way. It's just another situation where we're talking about insurance. And when we get into camp, Steve, is Rodriguez going to be? Is he going to be ready for camp? Is he going to be out there? What's the Alex Anzalone situation going to be? Is he going to be holding out? Is he going to be around? What's the situation going to be? I think we need some bodies for camp too. So I don't know, man. It'll be something that I watch closely because Coach Shep can say what he wants. He's the DC now and all of that, but he wants that linebacker room to be right.
Yeah, he's got to be politically correct. He's going to give those Will Ford just very vague, basic answers. Not tip is saying too much, but I'm also thinking, is this a move where, the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles are kind of the talks of the NFC as being two of the top teams, Commanders, Packers, maybe, I don't know. But I think the Lions and the Eagles are probably the two best teams in the NFC. Is this a move where maybe we're playing a little chess with the guy who was with the Philadelphia Eagles last year? Maybe he's got some insight to their defense and their formations, and maybe he's a chess piece we can move around, and he kind of understands what the Eagles are going to be trying to do and what they're lining up in. Do you think that this is a little chess game that we're playing with the Eagles?
I never put anything past anybody, but I'm a strong believer in football's football. And I know that's not popular. People have hammered me before that take before, but when you really break down this thing, and I've got an opportunity to sit down with some really smart coaches, I'm not going to tell you that I'm the smartest football guy ever in the world, but I've got to sit down with a lot of tremendously smart dudes at these coaches clinics and just listen to them talk about football. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of the military guys that I've gotten to sit around that's done special things and been on special teams. They say, just keep it simple, stupid. The basics are the basics. The fundamentals are the fundamentals. 4-3 defense is a 4-3 defense. 3-4 defense is a 3-4 defense. It's, hey, man coverage, zone coverage is zone coverage. Now, is there some exotic things that they do? I mean, it is, but football's football, and that's what I believe. So I don't think, hey, man, if a guy's coming in and they know that he's coming in, it's just so many intricacies and ways. Sometimes you're playing stuff off of whatever a guy does. So it really doesn't even matter if you know what's going on. So maybe a little bit. Maybe it's the icing on the cake, but I don't think that that's why they brought him in.
Yeah, me neither. Just had to ask. I mean, it's one game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I plan on going down there into, what's it called, like Lincoln Financial or something. I plan on just wiping, doing a little bird hunting when we're down there on like week 11, Will, and just shooting them out of the sky. Birds fly, but Eagles or Lions hunt. Okay. So not worried about the Eagles. I don't think we're making moves just to play one game against them. Just a question I had to ask. It's just a little ironic. Played for the Eagles. We play them this year. Two dominant NFC teams. If they match up once for sure in week 11, and then again, potentially in the playoffs, maybe this is a little something, but I'm with you. I don't think it's much to even look at. It's not like we're, we signed their quarterback or something and they have to completely change their calls and we know all their old call. I don't buy into any of that, but had to ask the question. Well, good journalists like myself ask good questions. Will, what else we got for tonight?
I will say, I didn't think that you were talking about in preparation to week 11. I thought you were talking about in preparation to the NFC Championship game. That's where my mind is.
The NFC Championship game is going to be played at Ford Field. I'm not even worried about who the Eagles got. They got to come into the most hostile environment in sports entertainment and see some ravaged Lions fans desperate for a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. Thoughts and prayers, whoever comes into there. I'll tell you what, if that happens, you will see the roof come off of Ford Field, and that will be the most hostile crowd that we will ever have been a part of, and I look forward to it. Let's make it happen. Should have happened last year. Water under the bridge. We got to move on. Just some news tonight. Zach Cunningham. How much are you guys looking into this? Do you think that this has anything to do with Alex Anzalone, or do you think that this is just a coincidence? Us, again, probably a big nothing burger, but it is Detroit Lions news. I think that he was worth mentioning. I think he could be a vital piece on this team, but with how I look at this team and how deep we are at a lot of positions, I think linebacker is probably the one group that might be a little bit open on defense because of some injuries. Derek Barnes, Rodrigo, Alex Anzalone, he broke his arm last year. I'm sure he's recovered from that. Jack Campbell. So, I mean, we don't exactly have, and I know we just released Bow Plan to make room for Cunningham. So we're one light in the linebacker room, and then we add another one. So some of our linebackers are coming off some injuries. So this could be like a little insurance piece. Maybe he's a piece we can shuffle around. Definitely worth mentioning. But I think a lot of people are reading into this Alex Anzalone thing just a bit too much, Will.
Steve, I got a question.
I got an answer.
Did you see that we're going to be at joint practice against the Miami Dolphins?
I did.
Now that I can't wait for.
Does Tua know that we have like real grass out there? I don't want him going, like. I'm just saying, like, there's no padding on the floor out there, Tua. Like, I'm just saying, hey, watch your step. Don't get hit. Make sure he's got a red jersey on. No, I do look forward to joint practice. I think we get more from those joint practices than we do from preseason games because of how controlled they are, and it keeps most players healthy, especially the quarterbacks, red jerseys. And it's ones versus ones. In preseason, I've said it before, take Aiden Hutchinson, wrap him in bubble wrap, don't need to play him. Put Aiden Hutchinson in a red jersey like the Rams did a few years ago with Todd Gurley, and Jeff Fisher was the coach on Hard Knocks, and he was yelling at people for hitting the running back. Same thing with Aiden Hutchinson. Don't touch him. Penei Sewell, bubble wrap. Brian Branch, bubble wrap. St. Brown, J-Mo, Goff, everyone. Put all the starters in bubble wrap. This season's too important. There's too much on the line. Our window is still wide open for everyone who thinks it's closed. We can't afford any key losses, especially after last season. I don't want to go through that again. But I do. I look forward to these joint practices. Do you like them or do you hate them?
I love them. I feel like you're right. I feel like it is a prime opportunity for our starters to get a good look. Because in preseason, they're lucky if they get a drive here, a drive there. It's vanilla. You can try things in certain situational moments at practice. And I really like that aspect of it, man. And then you get seeing the clips and these guys are fighting. These things are heated. You're not going to see these guys fighting at a preseason game, but you'll see them fighting
like Kirby and Malik Neighbors last year throwing bombs at each other.
And then I remember that running back that jumped out, that scored all those touchdowns, that jumped over there to the New Orleans Saints and didn't score any touchdowns. He got into it when we were with the Colts, man. So it's those things get heated, and I like that, man. I think that those are when we really prepare for the season. The preseason is kind of just number twos, number threes, fighting for positions, trying to see who's gonna be the cream that rises to the top and makes the team.
I can't remember, and if you don't know the answer, someone leave it in the comments. Are those joint practices open to public, or is that just media only? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Media only.
I guess I might have to, get a disguise and go as a janitor and just sit there and pretend to just be like raking leaves or something outside while I'm recording on my phone and seeing what's going on. Like, we go above and beyond here at Detroit Den 313. So if I got to put on a fake mustache and some googly eyes or something to blend in with the crowd to get some insights, yeah. Yeah, Will's Cat Williams wig. If I got to put that bad boy on and dust off the old pumps and get them heels out and go out there and look like a $2 stripper, I'll go out there and get that content for us, Will. No holds barred.
In the name of content, man, we got to do what we got to do.
I'll tell you right now, my calves aren't built for high heels, but I will do it for some insights. Real quick, end of the show, members update, 29. We're sitting at 29 members. I validated and checked right before we came on. And I got to give a shout out to our guy, Matt. I can't pronounce your last name, my Hawaiian guy out there. I don't want to butcher your last name. I'm sure I've done it enough. He asked, have we hit 30 yet? And I said, nope, not yet. I hit refresh like an hour later, and we got 3 more sitting at 29. I hit it again before we jumped on. So all that stuff that I showed you guys at the beginning of the episode, this beautiful Kirby Joseph signed and inscribed helmet, as well as this brand new, fresh off the press, Jamison Williams black extra large jersey for our loyalty den members. Once we hit 30 super dens, I'm telling you, I think it'll happen tonight. So if you're on the fence, just go ahead and do it because we're going to be giving this stuff away. I think we'll end up doing a live show tomorrow night. I would guess probably around 7:30 till we can get our episode recorded for tomorrow. We'll get that put up, hop on, do a live, do a giveaway. So if you're on the fence about becoming a Super Den member, about upgrading, go ahead and do it because I'd hate for you to miss the opportunity if you're sitting around waiting. Other than that, stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.